Let's lighten it up.
All right. Okay. Let's lighten up. All right. Hey, when's the last time you were in the ring, and do you miss being in the ring?
My last time was in the ring when I was beating up Violent J just a few months ago at the Gathering of the Juggalos. They coerced me to come out of retirement, and me and Violent J, we had a nice feud going, and all of the Juggalos were like, Violent J's gonna kill you, Rudy, you had open heart surgery, and blah, 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 blah. And then at the Gathering of the Juggalos in Indiana, after I beat him up for 20 minutes straight, listen to this, with Violent J not getting one edge of offense on Rude Boy, I stood up with my hand raised above my arms, and I said, now look at your king. Look at your king now. Do I miss being in the ring? After that day, I did miss it. However, I also know that my health is important, and I need to be around for my kids, and I need to live a productive life. So that's why I run wrestling, because wrestling is in my blood. I'm going to die with it no matter what, And I'm proud to say that I had a nice, awesome career where I got to step into the rings with some of the greats, and but I still continue that. And with International Big Time Wrestling, I made it a vow that my shows, no shows cost over $10 to get into. No child, listen to this, guys, no child 12 and under ever pays to get into our shows, ever. Sweet. It's free for them. And that's because, once again, we want a family of four to be able to come on out, a mom and dad to bring their two kids, come on out for $20, have a good time, get to see some cool wrestling, get to see some of the greats of the past, the Honky Tonk Man, and, we had Kamala, and we had Jake the Snake, and, Nature Boy Buddy Landell, and guys like that. And you get to see them at an affordable price, and everybody has a good time. And, one of the things about International Big Time Wrestling is it's a family show. It's not like JCW. It's not like the old ECW. And I'm not dissing none of that because I was a part of those groups. But this is more family. This is more, you could bring your, 5-year-old or 7-year-old, and they'll get kick out of the matches and laugh and, shout and have a good time without, parents having to cover their kids' ears or their eyes. And, I guess we just like to make it so that everyone can come out and have a good time. But I do miss wrestling.
That's cool. Oh man, yeah, I remember them. Was it Strangleman or not? The hell was that shit called? Juggalo Championship wrestling.
Yep.
That was pretty dope. I remember getting that Stranglemania cassette. I actually for the longest did not know that was you on the fucking cover because the face was all bloody and shit. And then when no, somebody told me, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you beat his ass so hard he's probably still recovering. Is that why that tour got postponed or whatever happened?
No, that was postponed before then. And really the reason why, we had a lot of sold tickets on that date, on that tour, and unfortunately they were trying to get that record pushed out too quick, and he had to go back and he had to do a bunch of edits. And he couldn't do it on the road. Really, when you're on the road, you're out having a good time. You're not in work mode. And he was like, you know what, man? I know this is going to piss off a lot of people, but I got to go home. I got to go home. And so me and Isham and DJ Carlito, we were like, all right. So, all right, we'll take the bus back to Detroit. And we had an awesome 5 days of just having a good party all the way to Detroit. So it was good.
All right, that's cool.
I always have a good time with my brother Isham. He's the best.
Oh, we'll get into Isham. I want to get into Isham because I remember something when I was doing that tour shit. Don?
Okay.
Crimson. Hey, you got another question?
Today, right?
What'd you say?
Said whoever I am today, right?
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry. Well, I've been calling you Crimson, so we're gonna keep doing that.
I'm more of like a merch guy. So, were you ever involved directly with making merch back in the old days of Psychopathic? I had a couple crew jerseys of yours, but I'm talking like, did you help make Stranglemania shirts or JCW shirts or things along that nature when you were?
Crimson, I actually did help some designs for some of the old JCW, some of them, like the Vampiro shirts and the Sabu shirts and stuff like that. I was hands-on by helping to design. I'm not a graphic arts designer by trade or nothing, but I would tell the guys, hey, this might look cool. And, we had such an awesome team back then where, you came up with an idea and these guys just made it to reality. I mean, like nothing, and, kudos to those guys because really, you think about the merchandise of Psychopathic Records, 25, 30 years ago, no one could touch us. No one. We wrote the blueprint for all of that. You talk about, Strange Music and you talk about M&E and all them. They all followed the path of the blueprint that was paved by Psychopathic Records and the merchandise. Because whether you like the music or not, whenever you seen the merchandise back then, you were like, damn, that's a cool fucking shirt, but that's a cool jersey. I'll rock that even though I don't even know what it means. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So I take pride in that,
So most of the wrestling shirts, like yours and what Tom Dub and Big Flame, Neil and Bob, and is that kind of like your input in those? You were, slash. Yeah, more or less those things. Yes. Especially back in the early days, really, like no one really knew shit about wrestling other than me and Violent J and Shaggy at the company. And all of a sudden we just started schooling people and how things should look and how they should, be presented. And, we had some cool things, man. I sure would love to see some of that old work again. My God, man. I used to have every one of those shirts and I don't even have them no more. Yeah, I got rid of mine. I used to collect shirts mainly, and then I ended up selling a lot of stuff, and I focused on Riddlebox, Hollow Wicked. I still got my NAW? NAW crew shirt.
Wow.
Was one of the ones that they auctioned off at the first or second gathering. Then I have an NSWA crew shirt, National Stranglemania Association, which I've never seen.
Yeah.
And then the JCW crew shirt, Hellfire crew shirt. But I still have a lot of those crew shirts. I have a lot.
Those are really cool to have, man. Those are really cool to have.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, like you're saying, shirts was my passion. I had probably 1,400 shirts at one time, and I'm down to probably 600, but most of it's, I have every Hollow Wicked shirt except for this last year. I had somebody going to get them for me, made a deal, they didn't get them, so I'll pick them up over the next year or so, buying them off people. I think I'm missing one shirt besides that, but I have a 94 and two 96 crew shirts. The Riddlebox is my passion. I have two Riddlebox.
Hey, Crimson, man, when we get off of here, make sure that you hit me up on my Facebook and give me your address. I'll get you that. I'll get you that Hollow Wicked crew shirt from this year. I got like 2 of them. So I'll be glad. I'd be happy for you to have mine because you have a passion for it, and it's not doing nothing but collecting dust in my closet right now. So
I mean, it would go.
I'd be glad to do that.
Oh, I appreciate.
Yeah, I'd be glad to add it to your museum.
That's kind of what I have, like a little museum going on.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
So, do
you do shirts and clothings for your shows in wrestling now? I mean, since you did them in the past.
Actually, we do, man. Actually, we do. We have this cool new T-shirt coming out of Cruisin The Barrio. I'm so proud of it. This comic book illustrator in Los Angeles, he did our whole crew in a comic book form. And the T-shirts come out next Thursday, I believe. And yeah, man, I'm excited. We've got that coming out. And so we're trying some things on our end right now, you know, and we're basically really getting into the merchandise thing, which we really haven't tried to, except for our listenership and stuff has grown so much where they're like, hey man, what's up with some shirts and some hats and some merch and stuff. So me and Carlito, we decided we're gonna make this thing happen, and we're excited about it. Yeah.
Cool. So as Carlito, does he wrestle as well? Does he have that?
No, Carlito is a DJ. Carlito's a DJ. He DJ'd for ICP on the last 3 tours when Clay left. DJ Clay. Carlito was a boxer. When he was 14 years old, he started boxing, and he became Golden Gloves, Silver Gloves. He was Junior Olympics champion here in Detroit for 2 years in a row. Then he wound up breaking his hand. Then he wound up getting a girlfriend. Then he wound up getting fat, and then he started DJing. I mean, that's all in a nutshell. But he did do it, and they wanted him to turn pro. In fact, one of the big promoters here in Detroit was like, look, I'll send him to Mexico so he can get licensed. You know, he's a good-looking young kid, but, you know, he speaks Spanish and he speaks English, so, you know, he'll be able to sell himself. And at the time, Carlito was like, no, I really want to go for the Olympics. He really wanted to fight in the Olympics. And then, of course, he got hurt, broke his hand, and like I said, you know, when you're off for almost a year because your bones are being reconstructed, you get lazy. You know, here's a kid who would go from school for 8 hours a day at school, and then he would do another 4 hours each day in the gym. And then on the weekends, he'd do 8 hours in the gym each Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. And so, you know, when all of a sudden all of that's gone and you're just chilling, you know, you lose that passion. However, I did ask him when he healed up and everything, and I asked him, I said, so do you want to go back to boxing? And he was like, hell no. And I was like, well, what's up with that? He was like, because it's so much easier to play music than it is to get punched in the face 100 times in a round. I was like, okay, fair enough. But he runs wrestling with me, so, you know, he grew up in wrestling. That's all he knows. He doesn't know anything else, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. So he does have some of your passion for it.
Oh, absolutely. He has real passion for wrestling, and a respect for it, a real respect, where even some of the wrestlers that, you know, we're in this real weird world where everybody seems to know everything about everything, especially when it comes to the wrestling business. And I was brought up in the wrestling business when it was like a secret society. You just couldn't just waltz yourself in there and become a wrestler. You had to pay dues. And now all you have to do is go on eBay, buy yourself a $2,000 ring, go to a VFW hall, rent you a hall, and say I'm a wrestler. But, you know, if I went out and bought a police officer's uniform, I couldn't put it on and call myself a cop. So, you know, there's, you know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta pay those dues. You gotta learn the craft. And too much right now, nobody does, you know.
I got this question of I've actually asked a few. It's kind of vague, and that's the reason a lot of people can't answer it. But I've asked some hardcore wrestling people that I knew, and they could never answer it for me. So you know that I'm into magic and stuff like that. This is what got me into wrestling a little bit. So this was back in the maybe late 80s, early 90s. All I remember, I was flipping the channels or something, and there was, and I can't even, because I can't describe it better than this, I can't even find a clip of this shit. So I flipped it to some wrestling, and I just so happened to pop on. There was a dude with a cloak and a hood, and there was something that happened. He went out in the crowd, picked up a chick, and then put her in a cage, and these were magic tricks that people did back in the day. Covered it with a thing. He took the other wrestler's fan. That's what it was. Took the other wrestler's fan, put her in a cage, and then covered it with a thing. Turned her into a tiger, and then the other dude started flipping out like, "What the fuck?" And I don't know who was this wrestler.
I have no clue, brother. I have no clue. I want to see the clip now.
Yeah, cause like
I have to look that shit up.
Yeah, I can't. It's like that. That's the reason I can never find it, because I don't know who the two wrestlers were, and it was so fucking long ago, you know. And I just thought it was cool that they actually had a magician in wrestling then. It's fucking weird.
Right.
I haven't seen that since then, you know. And I guess it was
right.
It sucks, which is why they probably didn't continue doing it.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, it probably costs a lot of money to do that too every time, you know.
Yeah, those tricks like that, that shit cost tens of thousands of fucking dollars now.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah. Like,
you can't do that shit every week on TV, man.
Right.
Oh yeah, see, that's the kind of magic that I'm into, is when it's in my face, like a Trigger Blaine elevating himself off the ground, you know, something like that, man. I'm into that stuff, man. I'm into that, you know. And
do you still have a DVD player or something to play a DVD?
Of course.
Okay, I'm gonna send you something this week, all right? Or this week. So like I think you'll really like it, so it'll be cool. Speaking of sending, so I want to say this real quick. I tried to meet up with you last year. I think it was last year, yeah. And we sent you that mystery box, whatever you want to call it, with because I appreciate you doing this interview, and like you've been so cool throughout the years and stuff like that. I actually made 2 boxes, but yours had extra stuff in it. The second box, I wanted to give out to a listener at some point, but it's 2 Prince pop. 2 Prince pop, Prince vinyl, and these are all original. The Prince vinyl is original. The Prince is original. I think there's a Prince cassette, but it's your favorite album. Don't say what it is. I want people to try and guess this. So if you know what Rude Boy's favorite Prince album is, post it in the comments below, and we'll pick one of somebody that did the correct answer and send that box out to you. And then your favorite Esham albums. I think I sent you both of them on cassette, and they are the original.
You sure did, man. You sure did. I couldn't even believe it. Man, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, that was a lot.
That shit was like Christmas, John.
Yeah. You texted me or something. It was all like, yeah, the fucking postman threw it over the fucking.
Yeah. I was mad. Thank God it was all good though. Well, let me say this, John. To the listeners out there, you most definitely want to guess my favorite Prince album, because you want to get that box of flavor. That's all I got to say. Make sure that you comment. Make sure, look, man, Prince had a lot of albums, but there was that one that stood out for me, and I said this, John, in several interviews, what my favorite Prince album is. So if you know anything about Rude Boy, it's very easy to find out what my favorite Prince album is.
Yeah,
that's the only clue I'm going to give them.
So go search the interwebs, the internet, and look this shit up.
Next time on As the Whoop Turns.
That's right.
I want to reminisce on that very first gathering, or some of the gatherings, and talk about some gathering stuff.
Sure.
So the very first gathering.
Whoop ×2. Don't you dare miss the big event. Whoop, whoop.